What up, fam? How's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Merch, doing pretty good. Links down below. We're back here out on the car. Last video I ended it doing the wiring harness. That was boring as old hell to film. So what I did was I finished it, got all the terminals crimped on. I didn't put any sheathing over just the end part, just in case we do have issues, but I did do the rest of the harness. Here's how it came out. This is a coolant temp. This will be map sensor, that'll go right there. Fuel pressure sensors right here. These are our wires for our two MAC valves and our dome pressure sensor that are gonna go down behind the motor plate, tuck up right here. I think that's where I'm gonna put them all, right there. And then that's the last of the wires in the back here. I think this is water pump, so I'm gonna have to extend that one, but injector harness right there. Coil harness is down in the back somewhere, along with the crank sensor, or cam sensor. Oh wait, that's crank sensor. But yeah, so this is all the wiring in the car right now. This is what you see, besides coil packs are gonna go under the headers and up, so you won't really see that. And fuel injectors is just the harness that goes to the back and clips in. So that's basically the wiring in the car. It looks freaking damn clean if you ask me. I've also had another thought. While I'm driving at work all day, I tend to have some free time to think. What if we get rid of this radiator? I know he said this one cools the car good, but what if we use this one? I didn't have the best of luck cooling the car with this Mishimoto one. It worked, but under long cruises, it would creep up to like 220. What if we lay this one flat if it fits, like completely flat, and we put the turbo up high in the middle here? So radiator flat along the bottom, and then the turbo goes on top of it, but right in the dead center. That way our exhaust can still go out this way, where it's supposed to go, but the intercooler piping can come 90 here, and then a straight shot into there, right there, which leaves the least amount of bends, and I don't have to cut up anything in the sides, because there's actually a plate that goes here that's gonna cover this to make it look a lot better. It's one of these. See, there was also this plate here, which would be nice to remake without this big hole there. And then that makes it look a lot cleaner as well. Because I think our biggest issue with this radiator right here was that this fan didn't move enough air. So if we replace this fan with a nice thick one and we leave enough space to use a nice thick one, I think this might work perfect. Well, it definitely fits in there flat. The only thing is, awkwardly, this hose has to go into that hole over there. I wonder if we can flip this pump over. Probably not, I'm not sure. But yeah, this hose has to go over there. This top one over here is gonna have to go to some sort of overflow or something, so we have the highest fill point, because these two have to go into the top hose. So I was thinking of running like these two into a can over here that I can fill up that's higher than the engine level. So this will be our highest point with a rad cap on it. And then 1-16 line to go from here down into the radiator. But it looks like we do have a ton of space if we want to put the turbo right in the middle now, if we put that radiator flat like it is. Definitely not the most ideal way of holding this up, but you get the idea of kind of what I want to do here. You can see there's tons of room for the radiator, plus a bigger fan, a way bigger fan, which would be great. This, I've decided, probably just gonna come straight out. We'll just loop the line and then come back and put a 90 on that side with an AN fitting. This side will just come straight up into whatever I put over here. Exhaust, I might just cut a hole in that piece over there. We'll just go over the frame rail for the exhaust and then down through that hole. Then this pipe just comes straight up over the header, straight into here. I know it's not gonna be as heat managed because it's gonna be on top of the header, but then it goes through the ice box, which I'm not too concerned about. And then the turbo's got some nice fresh air. We're gonna get rid of this pony, I think, just so that doesn't get sucked into the turbo. And then it's got a nice clear path of air going into it. Got her. So this was the original pipe off the turbo kit that came with the car. It'll probably end up something like this. I might not use this pipe specifically. I might just use 3.5 to have more wiggle room, because it's 3.5 off the turbo. It's just 4 on the firewall. But it's probably going to go somewhere in that area. It is going to get a little warm, I think. But I'm going to do my best to keep it away from the headers, maybe even wrap it. I won't be using this pipe at all. But I think it's time for the front bumper to come off again so we can place that radiator kind of where we need to. Start building some mounts to hold that thing up. I took the front clip off again, and I don't really want to grind these tabs off just yet because technically I have to work tonight. I don't want to smell like grinding dust. So instead I started making a list of all the things I need to do. It's just like build turbo kit, mount the rad, wire pump, just stuff that I think I'm gonna forget that might get put on the back burners. Some of these I can do just to see if the engine runs real fast. But days off, I'm gonna pound it hard. I swear, I'm gonna pound it super hard for like 30 seconds, and then I'm gonna have an ice cream sandwich. Cause then I deserve one. We're back, another day. I do have to work tonight though, unfortunately, which means I got a solid 4 hours of sleep so I could come out here and do some work on the car before I go to work tonight. I'm that dedicated. There's gonna be no easy way to do this, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the grinder out, I'm gonna hack this mount off, that mount off, and then we're gonna start laying the radiator down and get into it real fast. I've come up with a couple ideas at work while I was just driving around, and I think I'm gonna use some 1-inch pipe. I'm gonna build it off that pipe that's in the front there, and then it's gonna be weird to explain in my head, so I'm just gonna do it. Alright, we made it this far. If my plan wasn't clear in the beginning, hopefully it makes sense now. These things aren't perfectly straight up and down because I don't think the angle iron was perfectly. But we're going to run a bar from here to here now. And it's actually going to intersect somewhere right here with this bar. So it'll be a bar welded from here to one of those tabs, here to one of those tabs, and then there and there. So the weight of the radiator is going to be on this bar right here in the middle. So we just have to cut up some 1-inch tubing, notch it on both ends, and then notch it in the middle as well. Ideally, I wanted to weld the nuts on the inside of this pipe, but it didn't work out as planned, so I might put nutserts inside these washers. But it should be easy removal, just 4 bolts. And it should be plenty strong once it's all welded up in the car. Right now I have the back tube tacked on to the frame there. It still has to tip up some. But before we get to building the second mount, I have to make sure that the bumper is going to fit on over this and that can lay flat like it is right now. So it's got to come up a little bit higher. The bumper just doesn't fit on in there. It is hitting that bottom portion down there, but there's lots of room above it. So we've got to come up just a little bit higher. I'm just going to mark it on the frame there and then pull the bumper off, and then we have a good guideline of where we have to mount it. So it's got to be higher than that. Alright, there it is in all its glory. Actually, I could probably pull this strap off, to be honest. So it'll probably hold itself up. Yep. It's under its own weight. It is just tacked on there. This is how I had to build it. I didn't want the radiator to stick lower than this, just in case we do a big wheelie and we drop down on the front. I don't want it to smash the radiator out. So it is kinked a little bit there. So I had to bend our tabs up just a touch on each end. But it does give us room for ducting. If we want to build like aluminum duct, we could kind of fit it in there to get the air to flow through it. I mean, I'm pretty satisfied with this. I won't be welding it today fully because I have to go to work and I don't want to lay on the floor and get all dirty and stuff. But I will pull the radiator off and see how it sits without it being welded. It's kind of neat. I actually like it. I spent a lot of time on that. That was like 3 hours of work. So I hope you guys appreciate 3 minutes for 3 hours work. There it is. Now we'll get to practice some out of position welding because we do have to weld like the bottom sides of this as well, which will be kind of awkward. Ooh, that one's not on very tight. Should probably try and put another tack weld in that. Perfect. Also, I completely forgot about this, but we should probably add our sponsor stickers. This one is from Milron. Milron's actually helped us out in the past. They helped us get the transmission. He's helped me out with a bunch of metal work. He's an awesome guy, and you've probably seen him in my videos because he runs the orange Camaro. Like I said, we have very, very limited sponsors. As you can see, our only big sponsor on the car right now is the wifey's OnlyFans thing. But Milron, I do appreciate everything they do, so they deserve a spot on the window. Easy peasy. Now we're just gonna pull it on the other side over there and just make them match, because 2 times is better than 1 times, always. Hey, look what just showed up. This is from DD Speed Shop. It's the big banner that I ordered for the garage. A carbureted man in a fuel-injected world. So basically the opposite of me. What are you meowing at? You're not supposed to be on the countertop. Look at the little Devon babies. They're like Sphinx cats, but with a little tiny bit of fur on them. Finally, days off. Now we can get all hyped up, get a lot of work done, but I have a lot of out of position welding I have to do to finish this thing up. So I'll set the GoPro up and I'll show you kind of the awkward positions that I'm gonna have to be welding in. Well, here they all are welded. Actually, this one needs a little more on the top there. I kind of missed that spot. But yeah, you see some out of position welding there. We did get some decent welds. The bottoms don't look as good, I guess. There was a hole in that one. Can't really see this one. But what I did was I actually used this piece again. This is like a finger trigger. And this is like an on-off switch, so you either get all the amps or none of the amps, so it's kind of tricky because you have to move faster with time, but you don't have to use the foot pedal, which allowed me to like lay down on my back and use both hands instead of trying to use both hands and a foot. So I'm going to try and put some riv nuts in these things now and see if we have anything that's the exact size as that. Wee, I like to pee. Where's my riv nut gun thingamajiggy? We're about to see what fits, and if it doesn't fit, then you do the spits. Maybe an 8. That'd be good. Oh, money! Money. Looks like 8 mil. That one needs a little bit of persuasion. And by persuasion, I mean this is a hammer. So these things, if you don't know what they are, they're super handy. I have to give a shout out to John Kitt. He actually sent me one of these to my PO box, which is like down below in the description. And essentially what you do is you get this little thingamajigger here with the splines on it, and it actually has threads on the inside. And you kind of pull it and it squishes, and then it clamps itself onto whatever metal it's in and puts threads in it. These ones are steel. I only like the steel ones. The aluminum ones aren't very good. So that's why I got this big 14 incher here. We just have to change the end piece. and then we can rock and roll. And because I go through a bunch of those thread certs things, you can buy them on Amazon for like 15 bucks for a set of replacement ones. So to quickly demonstrate, you've probably seen this before somewhere though, but you just kind of thread the piece in to the piece. That piece gets threaded onto this. When it's fully open, it bottoms out. You go like yay, you squeeze. Not too tight. Unthread it. And boom, you got threads in there now. That one didn't come out as planned. It wasn't all the way bottomed out. Sad. You can see how the lip actually pulled outside the tube on this one, whereas this one lays completely flat now that it's in there. Oh my god. Oh my lordy. There it goes. See how it's completely flat on this one? So we gotta redo this other one. We're just gonna take the floppy wheel, we'll grind it down, and then it should just fall through. I think I'm starting to get a little bit more legitter at this fabricating thing. That doesn't look half bad for what we did. I'm actually kind of happy with it, and it seems strong as heck. I like lifted myself up from the bar, so there shouldn't be any real vibration issues because the radiator is rubber mounted still. These Mishimoto brackets actually came on the radiator, and then I welded the tabs on the top here. I forgot to show this in the video, but I did weld these tabs on the top, so that's what bolts onto it. Now I'm waiting on a couple things in the mail because, you know, Canada land. We ordered that turbo probably 2 weeks ago. It should be here, well not here, it should be Edmonton tomorrow. I might have to run down, go get it and pick it back up. But we really need that now so we can start getting everything situated in the front here. And then on top of that shipping, I'm waiting for my Dash 16 fittings and my Summit order, which should be here today sometime. And then we can start tinkering again. Originally, I made my Summit order just to get a scavenge pump, but now that we're mounting the turbo up so high, I probably won't need one. I'll probably just tap that front cover for a like Dash 10 or Dash 12 return and run off the cover, I guess. Sad. But I'm gonna get out of the garage before I get high as heck, because I can feel it already in my face that I'm getting a little bit wheezy. I know this is a little off from where I was before, but I can't put the radiator in right now without the proper fittings. It just doesn't make sense to put it there if I have to pull it off again to weld fittings on. So I'm gonna move inside. Something that I can do is, why is this button on the steering wheel so loose? I can work on my shifter position. Now my previous car, you'll notice that my shifter was all the way down here and I had to keep my hand down here because I had to shift the car manually, which I do with this one. So I'm gonna try and reduce the distance from here to here so I can run two hands on the wheel and grab the shifter. So that's going to entail building a bracket that mounts this higher, because right now this sits, well, the cable's on it. Let's pull the cable off and I'll show you. Right now the shifter is mounted down here and I have to move my hand from here all the way up here to do anything. So what I'm thinking is, I don't care how ugly it is, what if we just mount the shifter up here and then I only have to go from here to here to do things. I might have to extend that wiring a little bit. It's going to be out of place and up high, but it's going to be comfortable, and if anything happens, it's right there. This is line lock on this shifter, and then I figured out that this on the firewall is actually to put it in reverse. So it's like it activates the trans brake button as well. I think the battery switch is actually off in this now. Maybe it doesn't? Maybe I have to plug this in. Don't know why this button doesn't work now. It worked for us the other day, remember? I don't know what I did different. That's what I did different. On. I actually really like this setup, to be honest. if I don't run an oil scavenge pump, I can use this relay to turn on my fuel pump, I think. Because there is no fuel pump one here, which is odd. But, huh. Well, that works. He said this was for the trans brake, but I don't know if this has to be in neutral for it to work. Let's just plug this one in right here. There's a plug on the back of the shifter as well. Let's plug that in. Let's put this in neutral. First, second. That's neutral here. Doesn't do anything. And of course, after I'm done that rant about how I want to move the shifter, there's no flat plate around here, so I can't even do it right now. Awesome. And it's 10 o'clock at night, so I can't go buy any. It's my luck. It's my luck right now. Maybe I'll just clean up. Maybe I will just clean up. I'm trying to leave some of the simpler stuff for Dan, because Dan's going to come over and help me. So stuff that I don't need to waste time on, like fuel lines, mounting injectors, simple stuff like that, that Dan is more than capable of doing, I'm going to let Dan do while I do some of the stuff that I need to be doing, like fab work. Please stuff just come in. I need it now. I need it because we need to do a test fire. Actually, next video we should start this. That's what we'll do. I'll let it off here. I'm going to clean up my garage nicely because it looks like absolute garbage right now. And we're going to get ready to test fire this. And you guys said you can't unsee it, but all those things, the purple things, instead of upside down flames, it looks like sperms swimming upwards towards that egg right there. That heat spot, that's an egg, and these are all the sperms trying to get to it. Yep, I said it. That's it. Peace easy and get that V.